Whenever we see housekeepers at a hotel, they're usually smiling and offering us fresh towels or making our beds for us. But while we're not looking, it turns out that they get into all sorts of crazy mischief. You might just be surprised by some of the things hotel workers have revealed. If you've ever goofed off or acted recklessly on the job, we're sure you can only imagine what these employees got up to when nobody else was around. If you're a fan of learning industry secrets, make sure to subscribe to The Riches for more, and to be the first to find out, join our notification squad as well. Cutting corners. One anonymous hotel housekeeper claims to work in a 5-star resort property in Orlando, Florida. So you'd think that since they aren't working at a seedy motel, they wouldn't have much to report. Well, think again. The informant confesses that when time is a factor, corners are cut in order to make the room good enough to rent to someone else. What are some things that don't make the cut? Vacuuming the floors, for one. Some housekeepers admit to just dragging the vacuum over the rug in a couple of places to leave the telltale marks that suggest someone was cleaning. Bathtubs might also get a mere rinse instead of a thorough scrub, and surfaces don't get an appropriate dusting. You'll always want to watch out for some objects like the television remote and drinking glasses that don't always end up getting cleaned up as much as they should. And don't look under the pillowcase. Pillows rarely get thrown out, even if they're covered in sweat stains, drool marks, or other stains we'd rather not think about. You also don't want to think about the last time the comforter was changed. You're better off staying strictly on the sheets. They touch your stuff. When you leave the room and lock the door, you like to think that nobody's going to be messing with your items while you're gone. But for the hotel staff, this is actually kind of tricky. Most of them have no desire to touch your things, but they have to make your bed and tidy up, so inevitably it ends up happening. If it's a busy day for housekeeping, you'd also better believe that they won't think twice about using your bathroom to relieve themselves. It's technically against the rules, but when they're under a time crunch, it doesn't seem worth it to head all the way to the staff bathroom when there's a perfectly good one sitting right there. One housekeeper even took home and ate some T-bone steaks that a guest had left behind in the mini fridge. Hey, no sense letting perfectly good meat go to waste. This housekeeper also reported touching one other item left behind in a room, but that's because they were so horrified by it. It appeared to be an abandoned baby, so the housekeeper quickly scooped it up and took it to management. However, it turned out to be an incredibly realistic fake baby that even moved and made noise like a real one. A way around the fees. Canceling a hotel room due to a change in plans is always a bummer, especially when you get smacked with a hefty cancellation fee. Now, the front desk might tell you that there's simply no way around it, but one hotel employee spilled the beans about a simple and elegant fix. Note that this will only work if you book directly with the hotel in the first place. If you made your reservation through an online booking site, you're unfortunately out of luck. But try calling the hotel and asking to move the arrival date back a bit. If they can accommodate this request, you can later call within the allotted window and cancel. This works if the cancellation fee is dependent on how close to the booking you try to cancel. Remember to smile and ask politely, and they might just be willing to bend the rules a little to keep you happy. And it's not just the front desk employees you want to schmooze if you're hoping for some freebies. Bellhops can give out free valet parking, tours, shuttle rides, and more just to keep guests happy. Because so many guests dismiss them as just the bellhop, they never think to ask for any extras. They meet celebrities. While being a housekeeper means making beds and scrubbing toilets, it does also mean occasionally getting to rub elbows with the rich and famous, depending on where you work. Of course, this can be a less than thrilling event and equal a lot of extra work for hotel staff. For instance, one housekeeper revealed that Mariah Carey forced the staff to completely empty 5 rooms just for her and her makeup to be done in. And we don't mean where her hair and makeup teams stayed during their visit. That required 10 hotel rooms. No, apparently her beauty team needs a lot of elbow room for some reason. Then there's the 10 rooms just for her security team to spread out and get some shut-eye. A final 5 rooms were needed to contain all of her clothes and personal belongings. In the diva's own room, the staff had to black out the windows, install a door with no peepholes, and fill the room with an obnoxious amount of humidifiers. So while the hotel staff does their best to treat all guests with the utmost care, some guests are just a bit more special than others. They're judging you. When it comes to a lot of the things that go on in hotel rooms, the hotel staff doesn't care too much as long as you don't leave too big of a mess to clean. That being said, there are some things that your housekeeper will judge you for hardcore. The first is not being able to figure out how the Do Not Disturb sign works. Hang that sign on your doorknob and housekeeping will walk right by your room without entering it. Apparently, a shocking number of guests find this unacceptable and will berate hotel staff for not cleaning their room despite the sign that might as well say, "Keep out." A startling number of guests also can't tell the difference between a safe and a microwave and will complain angrily that their safe isn't heating up their food properly. We wish we were making this up. If you can't figure out how basic appliances or signs work, then you shouldn't be surprised when the housekeeping staff has a laugh behind your back in the break room. Sure, they'll resist the urge to laugh in your face or be anything less than polite for fear of the ramifications, but that doesn't mean they're not judging you. Good thing you didn't hang up the Do Not Disturb sign because we're stopping by with our trivia question. There are a lot of hotels out there, but only one has the distinction of being the largest in the United States. Which hotel is it? Keep watching for the answer. Revenge. Ah, sweet revenge. Now, while the petty grievances we mentioned earlier might have staff members laughing and rolling their eyes, sometimes the staff members do get quite angry at guests. They say you should be nice to waitstaff because they deal with your food, but you should also be kind to housekeepers since they have access to where you sleep. You know, if being a decent human being isn't enough of a motivation, some housekeepers confess to exacting vengeance on guests. One housekeeper in particular claims to use a towel to scrub the bathtub clean before hanging it up on the towel rack to be used by the offensive guest. And speaking of using dirty towels, using your dusting rag to wipe some pledge on a rude customer's drinking glass is so much simpler than swapping out the glass for a fresh one. Hey, it's clean, kind of. You might also find yourself ending up with sweaty, smelly sheets if you're rude to your housekeeper. Sometimes they just can't help but mix the clean sheets up with the filthy ones, especially if you've been short with them. Oh, and if you think you can do something unkind to your housekeeper on your last day, the hotel likely keeps records of its customers. One word to the front desk and any future rooms you book will likely be quite undesirable. Profiling. Now, leaving notes about you in the computer system can be a bad thing if you were a less than pleasant guest, but it can also be a good thing if you were a joy to have or if you spent a lot of money. That computer system can contain your likes and dislikes and extras that you prefer during your stay. If a place you stay at regularly seems to always have what you like, it's probably because they have all your data stored in their computer. Oh, and they're not above doing a little light social media stalking to acquire it. That's right, since they already have your name and know what you look like, many hotels will not hesitate to creep on your social media. Sure, the housekeeping staff may just laugh at your trying too hard selfies, or they may find something that you enjoy and be able to incorporate it into your stay. It's sort of creepy in a big brother way, but it also means that you can ask for your request to stay on file to make sure you're well taken care of on future visits. Vegas. Ah, Vegas is truly a one-of-a-kind place where people are notorious for cutting loose and indulging in lavish buffets, exciting shows, and of course, gambling. You've probably heard the saying, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," but a more accurate saying for hotel staff might be, "Whoever visits Vegas stays in Vegas," and we don't mean they decided to move in. You see, many people never got the chance to go to Vegas and party it up during their youth, so once they retire, they're free to take that wild vacation that they've always wanted. And we're not just talking about the elderly here, as many others make their way to Vegas with the intent of living it up and indulging in every possible vice. Unfortunately for both the guests and hotel staff, it means that there is a shockingly high incidence of people not surviving their hotel stay. And while it's horrifying for the housekeeper who discovers the grisly scene, it's also bad for the hotel because they lose out on income while the scene is being cleaned up. Breakfast is served. Having a hot breakfast included in the price of your room can seem too good to be true. Well, actually, it probably is, and we're not just talking about the pathetic Bible paper-thin bacon that some places have the audacity to serve up. If starting your day with a refreshing cup of coffee sounds fantastic, think again. When do you think was the last time your coffee pot was thoroughly cleaned? Exactly. Most housekeepers simply swirl some water around instead of giving them a thorough clean. This leads to a buildup of bacteria all over the inside of the coffee pot where it sits waiting for you to make your next cup. Perhaps even worse, if the housekeeper does attempt to clean it, it's likely to just be a quick wipe down with a dirty cleaning rag. This is mainly an issue at lower-end hotels, but often the person setting up the complimentary breakfast is the same person working the front desk, meaning that they're likely not trained in food safety and are unlikely to use proper methods when preparing and serving your food. When you venture downstairs for your questionable breakfast, did you notice that the lobby feels cold? It's actually kept that way on purpose to prevent people from loitering there unnecessarily. They know your secrets. You think you're pretty slick when you check into your hotel room, emphasizing that you're there to attend a very important work conference. Oh, and of course you'll need a second key for your coworker who is coming by later to drop off some very important documents. Why yes, thigh-high boots and a feather boa are a very important part of our office attire. Why do you ask? Look, hotel employees aren't stupid. They know exactly what is happening when you book a hotel room for a clandestine meeting. Housekeeping sees more than enough evidence of what people use their rooms for, and let's just say sometimes it's for things other than sleeping. The most scandalous part of all this? They don't care. As long as you smile and treat the staff with respect, they're happy to play along and pretend that they have no idea what you and your coworker are up to after hours. Just take the key, keep it down, clean up after yourself, and don't forget to leave a tip. You may have guessed this one since we gave you a hint by discussing how popular of a destination Vegas is. The largest hotel in the U.S. is the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. It's also the third largest in the world and has 5,690 rooms. That's a lot of towels to fold. After watching this video, we bet you won't be able to look at your next hotel room the same way again. Just remember to always treat the hotel staff the way that you'd want to be treated and never ever sit on the comforter. Before you travel off to parts unknown, don't forget to like our video and subscribe to The Richest. We'll see you next time.